Hey comic book fans, welcome back to Comic Book Corner. Guys, welcome back, and welcome back to another episode of Mike Spider Slayer's Comic Book Countdown. That's right, guys. This week we're doing things a little bit different. Now that I decided to do individual reviews on comics, I am still doing the countdown each week, going down the comics that I did read and counting them down all the way from my worst to my favorite comic book, but with a video not quite so long. We'll touch on a little bit of the comic, give a brief description, kind of a rating, why I ranked it that way, and then move on to the next comic book. This way I get to touch on everything in case I didn't get a chance to review everything doing the individual reviews. So, with that being said, guys, let's just get started. This week we have 11 comics that are on the countdown. Two of them I did not read, which were actually last week's comics that I still didn't read, and that is Avengers issue number 6 and Robin Hood issue number 5. Just didn't have enough time. Things got a little bit sidetracked yesterday, and I just did not have my time available like I usually do. But there are 11 books on this countdown, and one of those books are from actually, I don't know if it's a week or 2 weeks ago, but I had to put it in this week's countdown. So with that being said, let's get started right away, shall we? Alright, number 11 on the list this week is The Walking Dead, The Governor Special. You guys thought I was going to say the other one, right? No, The Walking Dead, The Governor Special. This is a good book if you never saw the first appearance of the Governor with the Walking Dead weeklies, or the first appearance, or the trades, or anything like that. So this is a good issue to have. Besides that, this book doesn't really have much to offer except the first couple of pages, and it tells you a little bit about the Governor, about his aquarium thing. Besides that, there's really nothing to talk about that's different if you haven't already read this series before. If you haven't, it's going to be a good read for you. That's why it's on the 11 spot, just because it's a reprint basically. So the Governor Special, for what it's worth, I'm not going to give it any rating just because it's a reprint. It was great at its time. It's still a great book, but it doesn't compare to this week's comic. So that's why it'll be number 11. Next on the countdown, in the top 10 this week, rounding out, barely making it in the top 10, was Batgirl Issue 17. This book has to do with the aftermath of the death of the family, and it has Commissioner Gordon's son in there, and it just basically not really told the way that we're used to these stories being told. Gail Simone doesn't write this particular issue. It was a fill-in artist until she returns from everything that happened in the past. Artwork is good. Here we can see the opening pages of the artwork. It's a solid issue, but I thought it was kind of generic, and I thought it was weak, and it makes me feel for this comic, what would happen to this comic if Gail Simone left? Is this what we would get each week? And so I kind of just brushed it off, and I'm awaiting Gail Simone's return on this book. This book for me was just an average book. Batgirl issue 17 gets a rating of 3 out of 5 stars. Great art though. Next for me was Scarlet Spider in the 9 spot. Issue number 9, number 9, issue number 14 was Scarlet Spider issue number 14. Yeah, this book really took a twist for me at the end. In the last issue, we got to see Kane, who's getting eaten by these werewolf creatures. And you're like, okay, and I wasn't fond of the last issue. I know there was a lot of character development with Arcely and everything like that, but I was like, where is this going? Like, werewolves, and you know, and then Kane is actually dead, and he just dies, and he's reliving this. He's dead in his own world, and he comes across this Weaver thing and says it's supposed to take over Spider-Man, but he rejected, and Kane is supposed to I guess Kane is supposed to accept him, and you know, he was fighting this thing, and it was just weird. And this is a spoiler. I'm going to spoil this if you haven't seen it. But once Kane accepts this creature, or this weaver, he rises back from the dead and becomes, spoiler right here, this, which is the other. And I'm like, what? What is this? I didn't see this in the cards. This is not what Kane is about. So this was kind of weird for me, and I didn't see any other reviews on this book. And I know my friends on Dark Avenger Inc. have probably done their reviews, like Comic Uno and Dark Avenger C86, and but I just haven't watched it. Now I'm curious to see what their reviews were, and anybody else who's read Scarlet Spider on this issue, please give me your comments below what you thought of this issue. This was way out there for me, and I'm like, is this what he's going to look like from now on? I don't know. So for me, it was just a 3 out of 5, and it's weird, and yeah, it's weird. So we'll see where that goes from there. So that took the 9 spot for me. Now the comics start getting pretty good, and it was tough for me to just really, they're all really close. So the number 8 spot was Fantastic Four, issue number 4. This book was really interesting storytelling that had to do with the family. And if you like a family aspect, this story is for you. If you're looking for action and going out there with all battling and brawling and all that stuff, well, this issue is not for you. And this issue basically goes and talks about how Reed and Sue Storm actually met, and it was nice to see that, and it's nice to see a family dynamic. But if you're into more action and things like that, this is not going to be for you. So I felt that this book touched on some levels, and on some levels it didn't. What made the book really good is the AR in the book. If you go to the last page and you have that AR app from Marvel, and it goes into the depths of Matt Fraction's family. Me, as a family man, I appreciate it. He related all his family members to the Fantastic Four, and it got you to know the author or the writer of the book a lot more, and it makes you appreciate the book for what it's worth and gets you closer to the writer. And that's what I liked about it. But I would give this issue a 4 out of 5. Okay, so next on the list, I think we're what, at 8 now? 8, 7. Number 7. I'm running out. Here's number 7. Wolverine and the X-Men. I found this issue exciting. It was cool to see all the students on the Savage Island basically trying to survive, and they had to follow Wolverine, and that was their class exercise. A lot of dialogue in this book, but it's great to see. It's great to see Kid Omega just being, I guess, announced, in a little spoiler, as class president, and he kind of takes the leadership role on Savage Island to help the other classmates survive this ordeal. This was a fun read. It had decent art. I like to see a consistent artist on this book, just to top it off. So I'm gonna give this book a 4 out of 5. All right, so number 6. Yep, number 6 on the list was Avengers Arena. I was looking forward to this book this week because I saw X-23 and versus Darkhawk, and I kind of thought that's what we were going to get. But that's actually what we not got at all in this issue, and we got a lot more character development, which is nice to see. The book is taking its time. It really wants you to invest in its characters. And that's what I like about the book. I wish right now we're on issue number 4. We haven't seen much action since the first issue, and I'm waiting to see something happening. It was great to see, you know, Hazmat, and I think it's Chase, and I forgot the other girl that was in there. They were trying to team up with Reptile and X-23 and Hazmat. They're all trying to team up to work together to survive. One didn't have a place to really live. The other people didn't have food to eat, and they tried to work together. But in the end, it didn't quite work out the way we planned. And the last page was a great cliffhanger because, what's his name? Chase wound up finding the amulet, and this is a little spoiler here, so just be prepared. Chase wound up finding the amulet and becomes the next Darkhawk. So this book basically does a really good job in, you know, getting you to that next issue, wanting to read more. And I feel that as this issue goes along, or the series goes along, we're going to get a lot more action once we're invested in these characters. And I think that's what Hopeless is trying to do with you, trying to invest in the characters. So same thing, I gave this issue a 4 out of 5. So in our 5 spot, we have Star Wars issue number 2. Star Wars number 2 was, again, another fantastic read. This series has great promise. If you guys are Star Wars fans, you're going to enjoy it. You have all your classic characters in here. You have Princess Leia, you have Luke Skywalker, you got Wedge Antilles, you have Chewbacca, you have Boba Fett. I mean, so far you have all these characters. Darth Vader, Emperor Palpatine, and you're just going to love this book. Han Solo basically just gets done with his mission, destroying the Death Star, and this takes place after Episode 4. And he has to meet up at the rendezvous point, which is actually Coruscant in Imperial City, which is the last page here. Artwork, again, is beautifully drawn. Each page draws you in, great colors, nice inks. It was just a nice job. You get to witness a new Imperial commander and great dog fights and X-wing things, and you know, really neat stuff. Princess Leia is trying to get the rebellion on the secret mission that's classified, and she found a group of 6 rebels that she chose especially for this particular mission because she feels that one of her people are a traitor and they have to find this traitor. So great stuff. Dark Horse is doing the right thing by putting out this classic title. Now if it stays with them, that's one thing, I don't know, but this was a great book, and I'm giving it a 5 out of 5 stars. So, and this is only in the number 5 spot. Next, at number 4, was The Walking Dead, issue number 107. Carl was captured by Negan, and we start off in this issue with a big brawl. There was this huge fight between Negan and Rick, and he wants Carl back. Well, Rick thought that Negan did something to Carl, and he never did. He hands Carl over, and he says, here you go. We're going to keep trading as usual. Kind of gave them a second chance and let them go, even though Carl killed his men and all kinds of things. Rick is not on board. He still wants Negan to get killed. What happens in the next issue? It looks like we're going to meet that tiger guy that we were all waiting for, that we saw on the cover of issue 108. This book is really a solid book. This particular issue started off a little bit slow for me, or I'm sorry, it started off great for me and then it ended up slow, and I thought different events were going to happen, and I think I was a little disappointed in that aspect. Even though I'm going to give this a lower rating than some of my other titles, I still think that the story is still top notch and it's still consistent, and this is one of my favorite books, so it kind of gets that extra push. So I think I gave this one a 4, either a 4 or 4.5. I did an in-depth review or a full review on this book if you guys want to check that out. But that is number 4 on this week's comic book countdown. So next, I don't know how many of you guys are going to kill me out here, but this particular book was the book for a lot of people. And for some people, it made no sense. For some people, We've seen it all before. And for some people, this was the greatest book ever. I thought it was a fantastic book. But, and I didn't put this on I put this review on Dark Avenger Inc., but there was no spoilers. I didn't want to give anything away. But now that we kind of know, everybody knows what's happened at this point, I can say a little bit more. This book was a great book. I thought it was a 5 out of 5 book. However, I did find myself a little bit disappointed. I want DC to get balls. I want balls. Big, brass, heavy balls. Okay? I wanted someone to die. I wanted something to happen. Would it have been, oh my God, you can't do this. You can't kill Alfred. Or you can't kill this person. You can't. No. I mean, yes, it's just like, you can do it. It's just a matter of someone having the balls to do it. Will it change the universe? Sure it will. Will people be pissed off? Yeah, sure it will. But this is the one thing that I thought that was going to change the universe forever, and it kind of didn't. It was like, okay, Joker, he got the game turned around on him. He didn't want to hear it anymore, so he didn't want to play, and he just bailed out, and the face comes falling off, and it was like a movie set. Joker's going to return again sometime soon. And the thing that I'm most curious now that everything's been resolved, no one got killed, everyone's okay with the Bat family, is how is the Bat family going to respond to Bruce going forward? And what is Joker's face going to look like now? He lost his mask, his face is all skinned off. Are we going to see a Joker without the mask for now? I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. This was a great series and a great arc. And again, I still give it a 5 out of 5. However, I just wanted DC to do something a little bit ballsy. And you'll see why when I rate this comic when coming up at number 1. So this got the number 3 spot for the week for me. Batman issue 17. Alright, number 2 on my list was Uncanny X-Men. Issue number 1. This would probably get the number 1 spot if it wasn't for this comic coming up that came out 2 weeks ago. Uncanny X-Men was a great book. I'm not a huge fan of Pichello's art. However, the art shined at certain points. I made it a thing saying that his art can be too busy at certain times. But it was nice to see the twist at the end of this actual issue. And there's a spy working for S.H.I.E.L.D. And that spy was a person that I did not expect to see. And this book was written beautifully. Bendis, I think, has hit the X-Men extremely well. And I think if he continues to do this, this will be the best X-Men stories that we have read in a very, very long time. I made it a thing to talk about the costumes in my review about these characters, and some of you guys agree. Some hate the costumes and some of you guys like it. Some say it's a statement for Cyclops, the way he wears his X now. And I think for Magneto, Brent Fowler made this this comment on my review. He does the Zone 4 podcast and has comic site comicrelated.com. He's saying that for Magneto it's a change for him, going to another side and a fresh start. So it makes sense. But this book was an excellent book. I enjoyed it tremendously, and I'm going to give this book a 5 out of 5 as well. No, it wasn't a 5 out of 5 because of the art, so I'm giving it a 4.5 out of 5 just because of the art. But it was a great book, and I love this variant cover. Scotty Young's variants are awesome. So, my number 1 book of the week, the top spot, and this came out a couple weeks ago, but it just happened to fall on my list for this week. It was Injustice, Gods Among Us, issue number 1. This book was tremendous. When I talk about a company having balls, DC getting balls, this was the issue that I was reading, and I'm like, this is the way they should do this stuff, man. This stuff is awesome. I mean, everything that can happen in an issue 1 happened and more. I don't know how they're going to top issue 2. This book was so great. Lois and Clark not getting back together. They're together in this. beautiful. She's pregnant. Fantastic how he finds out that Lois is pregnant. This book's been out for a few weeks, so I'm spoiling. Jimmy Olsen, dead. Lois, at the end of the particular issue, supposedly dead. He's fighting Doomsday with kryptonite and Scarecrow fear toxin and all this other stuff. Great stuff. Artwork, phenomenal. In the beginning, I hope they have a consistent artist. I hope Jeremy Rat Pack is the one that actually does the art. This was beautiful. I loved everything that was drawn about it, and it was just such a wonderfully told story, and I cannot wait for issue 2. I've never seen Superman so scared and so horrified in his life, and it happened in this issue, and it was just great to see Joker and Harley Quinn together again the way that they should be. This just reminds me of a classic DC with a 52 twist on it, and I loved this book. Look at this last characterization of Superman with him realizing it's Lois in space and he doesn't hear the heartbeats anymore. Just an excellent, excellent book. #1 on my spot this week, even though it's an older book, and it was a 5 out of 5, and I can't wait, cannot wait until the next issue comes out. So guys, that is it for the week for my comic book countdown. You just got it. #1, Injustice Gods Among Us. #2, Uncanny X-Men. #3, Batman issue 17. #4, Walking Dead 107. #5, Star Wars issue 2. #6, Avengers Arena issue 4. #7, Wolverine and the X-Men. #8, I might mess that up. Whatever, you guys got the picture. Who cares about the other ones down below? And that's it, guys. That's the countdown for this week. Give me your descriptions below, what you thought of these books. Also, tell me what you thought, what your #1 book of the week was, and give me your rankings down below of these particular comics. So guys, that's all I have for you this week on the countdown. I hope you enjoyed this abbreviated version, and until the next comic book review, this is Mike Spider Slayer signing off, and I'll see you guys real soon. Take care, everyone. Bye.